On March 8, 2014, at 12:42 in the morning, Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, heading to Beijing. On board were 227 passengers, 10 flight attendants, and 2 pilots. Captain Zaharie Ahmad Shah, 53 years old, was one of the senior-most and highly experienced captains in Malaysian Airlines. First Officer Fariq Hamid, 27 years old, was on a training flight and would have been fully certified to become a pilot after this flight. The flight stayed on course for about 20 minutes, but at 1:08 a.m., as it crossed the Malaysian coastline and entered the South China Sea towards Vietnam, Captain Zaharie reported that the plane was cruising at 35,000 feet, and everything was normal. Around 11 minutes later, the plane entered Vietnamese airspace. Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control radioed the plane. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh, 120.9. Good night. Captain Zaharie responded, "Good night, MAS 370. These were the last words heard from the plane. After this, there was no further communication. The Malaysian Airlines flight had suddenly disappeared, leading to the biggest aviation mystery in the world. Breaking news tonight, a Malaysian Airlines flight, MH370, disappeared en route to Beijing. Flight MH370 entered the southern Indian Ocean. How MH370 disappeared? Just 30 seconds after entering Vietnamese airspace, the plane vanished from radar. It was 1:21 a.m. Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control didn't notice initially. When they did, they assumed the plane had simply moved out of radar range and entered Vietnam's airspace. Nothing seemed unusual. However, Vietnamese Air Traffic Control saw the plane enter their airspace but then suddenly disappear from their radar. Despite multiple attempts to contact the plane, there was no response. After 18 minutes, Vietnamese controllers informed Kuala Lumpur that MH370 had vanished. In such situations, Kuala Lumpur's Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center should have been notified within 1 hour. But shockingly, it took 4 hours before an emergency response began. By 6:32 a.m., when the plane should have landed in Beijing, it was clear something was wrong. A search operation was immediately launched. Looking at the map, the plane's intended route from Malaysia to Beijing passed over Vietnam and the South China Sea. Naturally, the search started in the South China Sea, with 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries joining the effort, but no trace of the plane was found. 4 days later, on March 12th, reports emerged that although the plane had disappeared from civilian radar, a military radar had picked it up that night. Surprisingly, the last sighting was at 2:22 a.m., not over the South China Sea, but near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, west of Malaysia, above the Strait of Malacca. The plane was flying northward, away from its intended destination of Beijing. This news left everyone stunned. Satellite data and the 7th arc. More evidence soon surfaced from satellite data. The plane had attempted to communicate with the satellite multiple times, but no location data was transmitted. However, investigators used the angle of the satellite's antenna to estimate the plane's position within a large circular area. The last of these communications, known as satellite handshakes, occurred in a vast region dubbed the 7th arc, about 2,000 kilometers west of Australia. This area became the focus of search efforts, but the search on the ocean surface was eventually halted by April 2014. The plane was presumed to have sunk, and deep ocean searches were launched. Despite years of searching and $160 million spent, the operation was deemed a failure by 2017. Debris discovery and renewed searches. In July 2015, there was a breakthrough. A piece of debris, the flaperon of the plane, washed up on the island of Réunion, east of Madagascar. This was the first tangible evidence from MH370. In 2018, the American company Ocean Infinity signed a contract with the Malaysian government to continue the search, offering a no-find, no-fee deal. Their advanced underwater surveillance mapped the ocean floor, revealing underwater volcanoes, cliffs, and mountains. But they too failed to locate the plane. Theories and investigators conducted background checks on the passengers and pilots to explore possible motives for hijacking or sabotage. Several theories emerged. The first theory implicated Captain Zaharie Shah, suggesting he intentionally disabled communication and crashed the plane into the ocean. However, there was no evidence of mental instability, financial troubles, or personal issues to support this theory. Zaharie was a respected, seasoned pilot, making this theory controversial. The second theory speculated that hijackers or terrorists were responsible. 2 Iranian passengers raised suspicion as they were traveling with stolen passports, but investigations revealed they were merely seeking to settle in Europe, not engage in terrorism. The third theory, considered most likely, suggested that an oxygen deficiency caused everyone on board, including the pilots, to lose consciousness. The plane, on autopilot, eventually ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. Various scenarios, including electrical fires or mechanical failures, were proposed to explain the oxygen loss. New evidence. Mystery solved. In 2022, retired aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey claimed to have solved the mystery using radio wave technology. By tracking reflections of radio waves, he predicted that MH370 lies on the 7th arc, about 4 kilometers underwater. Though some critics doubt his methodology, Godfrey is confident in his findings and has pinpointed the location within 40 nautical miles. He urges a new search in this area, suggesting it would take only a year to confirm if the plane is there. Conclusion. With 27 pieces of the plane already recovered and new drift analysis supporting Godfrey's theory, there's hope that the mystery of MH370 might finally be solved. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe.